Hello, Mr. Chews here, C-H-E-W, and I'm here to help you learn some algebra. So if you like my videos, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is at Mr.KeithE.Chew. My TikTok and Instagram are at Mr. Keith E. Chew. And this is called Bear Algebra. Why do I call it Bear Algebra? Because it's named after my peekapoo, who's named Bear, 12 years old, and you'll see him every once in a while in my videos, and you'll hear him every once in a while in the background. And when he barks, groans, coughs, or makes any noise, I'll let you know that he's doing it. This is called lesson 2.02D. We're solving one-step equations. This is my fourth and last video in the introductory level on these one-step equations. So we're solving these one-step equations SBS, and SBS means step-by-step. So I gave you two student practice problems, but you need to get used to stating each step and justifying it. Okay, so if we look at A, it says 14 equals m minus 18. Well, what's happening to my m? We're subtracting 18 from it. I don't want that. So you undo it by using inverse operations. So the inverse operation of subtracting 18 is adding 18. So I'm going to add 18 to the right. So to balance it out and keep the equation equal on the left and right, I have to add 18 here. This is called the addition property of equality. That is the reason. Well, this crosses out. This is gone because negative 18 or minus 18 plus 18 is 0. And that's what I want. And m minus 0 is m. And 14 plus 18 is 32. So we're saying our answer is 32. So after we get an answer, we're sometimes asked to graph it. So in this case, I'm graphing m's. We're looking at the number 32, wherever it shows up on the number line, and we're saying that the point right at 32 is the solution. So if I would take m equals 32 and plug it in here, it's true. 32 equals 32. That is the graph. I simplified to get my answer, and then I graphed it here. All right. So what do you do after you have your answer and you've graphed it? We need to make sure it's correct, and that is called the check. And when we check it, we write the original one down. I know before I wrote original equation here. Well, I'm going to write the original equation here. So I have 14 equals m minus 18. Then after I write that down, I'm going to use the substitution property of equality. And that means that wherever there's an m, I'm going to put a parentheses. And I'm going to substitute the value that I said it equals. And then the one last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put a question mark up here because I don't know if that's true or not. Then I'm going to do the order of operations, but in this case, the order of operations is just a simple one-step equation. So I don't even have to write that here. I'm just going to simplify it. As the equations get harder, you would have to use more than one step to simplify them. So 14 equals 14. That's true, it checked. So in order to solve it, step by step, graph it, and check it, it took us the original equation, line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. And when I was teaching in the middle school, I would make them write down every one of those lines. All right, so there's A. Now on B, what's happening to our x? We're adding a negative 18 to it. This one is a little bit harder now. So I want to get a 0 here. So what do you add to negative 18 to get a 0? Well, the first thing, we call this the subtraction property of equality. So we've got to subtract something. So what you're really subtracting is this number. So I'm subtracting a negative 18 from the left, and I'm subtracting a negative 18 from the right. But if you remember from pre-algebra class, what's minus a negative? You change it to plus a positive. And again, there will be review problems like that in my tray arithmetic. So really, what am I doing? I'm adding an 18 to both sides. And it crosses out, which is what I want. And 0 plus x is x. And then 6 plus 18 is 24. So, while I'm writing down the steps here, because we're going to continue to do that, this is my original equation. This is the addition property of equality. And here I simplified it. So when we got to the point where we said 32 was m, now we're saying x is 24. What do? You graph it. In this case, we're graphing x's, and we're looking at the number 24. That solution is just the point at 24. And this is our graph. Because if I take x equals 24 and substitute a 24 in here, it is true. All right. So now, after I say I think I got the answer, while we're solving equations, you always have to check it. And the check means I'm going to take my original equation and write that down. And then I'm going to do what? Wherever there's an x, I'm going to substitute this value in here. In a parentheses. Put a question mark above the equal sign. And then this is called the substitution property of equality. And now it should be true. Negative 18 plus 24 is 6. 6 equals 6. Checked. So how many steps did it take, including when you wrote the original equation? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are step-by-step equations justifying each step. And we're going to keep doing more and more, and the problems get longer. Aren't we having fun? I want to explain math to you. I want to explain algebra to you. I want to use bare algebra to make you understand that math is fun and it's not that hard. I am Mr. Chu. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Mr.KeithEChew. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Mr. KeithEChew. We'll see you next time when the equations may get a little harder. But we still solve them step by step. We still write down each equation, each step, each inverse, each reason. We'll see you next time, and I'll start teaching you two-step equations.